Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere in between two formerly tariffed nations. My name is Brian Engelman. This is Nimbus. And today is Thursday, May 22nd, 2025. And this is the TNAM Daily Show, a division of the Agree to Disagree Show.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Hello, everybody. Yes, this is the TNAM Daily Show, a division of the Agree to Disagree Show here on the New American Media. This is Nimbus. He's shaking my hand because he's a distinguished gentleman, classy, purring. Hello, Deb. Hello, Kenneth. Hello, David. Hello, everybody else out there in the TNAM universe. Thank you for joining. Let me pop you on the screen here. You love that intro with Anomaly. He's so hot. Deb, you have got a drive on you. I think you were making comments yesterday, weren't you? Yeah, AJ's a cool dude. I've hung out with him many occasions. Gone to music conventions with him in Anaheim, the NAM Show, and Politicon in Los Angeles, and what else? Politicon, something else. NAM, Politicon, Conscious Life Expo. We did a really in-depth sit-down prior to the Republican nomination. I remember he was maybe leaning a little bit more DeSantis, or he was at least kind of reluctant to support Trump. You know, he made a song called I Like Trump. What is it? What'd it go? How'd it go? It went like, I like Trump. I like Trump. I don't really give a fuck. All y'all suck. Something like that. I like Trump. But yeah, I mean, he had some serious concerns about the spending, about the vax stuff, about all sorts of things. But yeah, we did a sit down with AJ, with Anomaly. I think he just released a new song today or yesterday. So go check that one out. Of course. Give me his number. Easy, Tiger, easy. We ain't doing that. I never burn my sources. In journalism, you never burn a source. Anyway, welcome to the program. Today, we're going to talk about the big, beautiful bill or budget boondoggle. Both. Is it a big, beautiful bill or is it a budget boondoggle? It's both. Thomas Massey's getting grief for saying, man, you're still increasing spending. This is how you get 37 trillion in debt. What are we doing? Our nation is committing suicide. You have to pronounce it differently. So the algorithms, I'm Al Gore. And my time in the United States Congress, I invented the internet. I mean, he's not wrong, but he's totally wrong. Of course. Yeah, Nimbus loves just jumping up and being a part of the program, and I love it as well. Yeah, accountability is important. Yeah, look, I had if anybody missed yesterday's show, who was in yesterday's show? Kenneth. Hold on, who was in yesterday's show? Was it Kenneth, David, Deb? Were you here? So I remember who was in chat. But yeah, we had John B. Wells on, and everybody has their take. Everybody has their perspective. And it's important. The show's called the Agree to Disagree Show. This turns into the TNAM Daily Show because we're going to cover various topics today. Hit like, hit subscribe, however you're watching. Please share the show with your friends and follow us at, yes, Kenneth was here, of course. Yeah, I called Kenneth's comments out. I called out Kenneth. I called on Kenneth. There's just something about headbutting your buddy cat as he purrs into your temple. Yeah. Deb was here with John B. Wells. I was reading your comments. But yeah, agree to disagree. We should have more conversations. Yeah, Deb, you enjoyed it. You felt a little uplifted, huh? John B. did Wells. Yes, he did do Wells. You're not drinking coffee. Stop it, Nimbus. Well, easy. Anyway, it's the TNAM Daily Show, so we're going to start off with a little bit of sports just to keep you updated on who's winning what games. We're going to talk about the big, beautiful bill budget boondoggle. We're going to talk about the ambush of President Trump with the South African leader who's allowing the calls for white genocide and all of the disgusting crimes happening in South Africa. John B. Wells being married to Brendy Wells from South Africa. They have a unique insight. And the stuff they've seen and the stories they've learned about, it's brutal and it's terrible what's happening down there. John B. Wells was a great conversation. Yes, David, absolutely. But yeah, yesterday, John brought it back to, what can you trust? Do you trust Pam Bondi? Do you trust Kash Patel? Do you trust Dan Bongino? It's like, I think he summed it up. I'm trying to remember. There's damn near did 3-hour show, 2 hours, 45 minutes, which is always cool. Cause usually when I book a guest, I think it happened with Adam Kokesh a month or two ago as well. It's like, all right, we'll book you for an hour, but anything you want to do after, any minute past 60 minutes that you want to do, I'm open, ready to go. When you have a hard out, when you have to leave, when you definitely have to cut off and need to take off, you let me know and we will wrap. But until then, it's a wide open conversation. Stay as long as you like. So yeah, we did almost 3 hours yesterday, which was very good. But I think John was saying that number one, President Trump assuming power and getting into this position was a godsend for this country to think about where we'd be if we couldn't reverse course on, my God, all of the things that this administration has accomplished in just a few short months. It's nothing short of astonishing. And we couldn't, no, he hasn't done everything great. No, he hasn't done everything fast enough. And no, not everything he did. Okay, fine. Yeah. What does he get? What grade? On some regards, I've given President Trump an A+. He's moving fast and he's correcting a lot of correctable things. And on the other hand, he's getting an F. Where is the damn JFK files? Where are the damn Epstein files? Where are the indictments of the treasonous monsters who've been trying to throw America into a third world nightmare? I was going to say like landscape, nightscape, and none of those words made sense. Hellscape, I think, was probably the word I was looking for. And I think it is a godsend that we were able to, Trump just turning his head from here to here. That's the difference between an image of our president, 3-time president, 2 terms he's been allowed to serve. That's how much the deep state meant. That's how much it meant to the deep state to keep him out of power. They robbed him of 2020, obviously. And then they tried to explode him because they couldn't stop him. They didn't stop him the middle term. They definitely weren't going to stop him against Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Are you kidding me? In 2024? No way. By the way, for countervailing views on health and elections, go to cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control. Go get countervailing views because they'll tell you 2020 was the only free and fair election in the history of elections. And Joe Biden totally legitimately got 81 million, wink, wink, completely legitimate votes in those 7 swing states, fraud states. No, they totally didn't rig the election. They want you to know that those countervailing views are out there because they don't trust you with your discernment. They being Google, they being Meta, they being the deep state. They can fork right off. So follow us in all of these places at the bottom of the screen. The New American Media is finally on D Live. The D Live kicked in, which is pretty great. It's been weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, probably 2 months, honestly, since we got our YouTube strike for no apparent reason. They never told us what the problem was, although they didn't like us covering U.S. aid. Why wouldn't Google, YouTube, Deep State want us covering U.S. aid? Oh, because that's their money laundering source. That's their funding mechanisms to cause their chaos and destroy America and loot us blind, rob us blind in the process. Okay, that's probably why Google, YouTube hit us from people watching that video and gave us a strike, a hard strike on our account. First time in 14 years and 1,900 videos, millions of views, 6,500 subscribers. Yep. Or 6,300 subscribers, whatever the number is. They didn't like it, so we added accounts on Kick, Twitch, D Live. We have an archive of our YouTube channel on Odyssey. We're on Truth Social, Rumble, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at the New American Media. We're on Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. And our podcast is the Agree to Disagree Show on Spotify and Apple. On X, we're at American_media_ to anyone who would like to toss a ducat into our tip jar. We are on Patreon at the New American Media, Venmo and Cash App at Brian Engelman, and PayPal at Fuzz Installment. Those are all scrolling at the bottom of the screen if anyone wants to toss a tip into the wishing well, because it all matters. Every year, it's several $1,000 just to do what I do, and it all adds up. I've been all in for 2 years, but reality is upon me. So, just another $800 bill to renew my website for 3 years, and the protection plan, and the domain, and then the hosting, and then the this and the that. Yeah. It's like, all right, you budget things and you go, bam, give me $800. You're like, I didn't have that. What? Why? Fine. Anyway, we appreciate all of your support because we are 100% crowdfunded. We do not take big pharma money. So we try to tell the truth about what's happening out there in the universe. All right. Well, if Deb is back, then I guess we could get into the news. Thanks for rejoining us, Deb. All right. Sharing the screen here. There was a proposal in the NFL to ban the tush push or the Philly shove. Oh, no, they call it the brotherly shove instead of brotherly love. That push failed by 2 votes, sources say. So the reigning champion Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts are still going to be allowed to try to do a quarterback sneak up the middle, and players are allowed to push them from behind. That matters to me because I am a sports fan, and in my dynasty football league, I drafted Jalen Hurts, and he is one of the top 5 performing quarterbacks, and I get to start him in my league because I picked him up, I believe, in the 2nd or 3rd round, and that's pretty cool. Also, longtime Colts owner Jim Irsay has passed away. Were you aware of that? I'm going to ask Grok, did Jim Irsay move the Colts from Baltimore to Indy? I think he did. That's going to greatly determine how I cover this story. No, wait, hold on. His father, Robert Irsay, did this in the early hours of March 29th, 1984. Jim was 24 years old then, involved in the organization and named president and GM of the Colts shortly after the move. But it was his father. All right, look. Let me say this about that. It was the Baltimore Colts leaving Baltimore in the middle of the night to go to Indianapolis that left Baltimore vacant and empty, which opened the void for them to bribe and coerce Art Modell of the Cleveland Browns to take his franchise from Cleveland over to Baltimore. So no love for the Irsay family. A lot of vitriol and anger, suppressed rage, stole our team, and we've been shit since. You know what team they took from us? Nick Saban. You might have heard of him. He was our defensive coordinator. A year, to be fair, it was a year or two before we moved, but we were building a dynasty in Cleveland. Bill Belichick is the coach. Ozzie Newsome, what was he? Director of player personnel, general manager. He's held different organizational positions, but I mean, they drafted Ray Lewis. They drafted all sorts of great players that won multiple Super Bowls for the Baltimore Ravens. All of those national championships from Nick Saban, but specifically the Bill Belichick Super Bowl championships. That stuff could have been a Cleveland dynasty instead of the Baltimore Ravens being good and competing for titles every year and the Patriots being good and competing for titles every year. That could have been Cleveland. And that was all ruined because Baltimore Colts took off and left Baltimore high and dry. So Baltimore stole our team. So anyway, that's just a movement that occurred in the NFL yesterday. I'm not going to bash the family, but I got a big personal beef with the Colts and the Irsay family for what they did. That is part of their legacy, and damn it, I'm going to tell it like it is. What else going on here? Let's check the playoffs. Playoffs in the NHL. Wow, did we have a game yesterday? Wow, did we have a game yesterday? Stars Oilers. Where's the scores? Where's the score? How do I get the scores? But this game was like 3-1, then it came back, and where do I see the scores? Oh, I guess I got to go to May 21st. Here we go. Good grief, 6-3. It was 3-1 and ended up 6-3. Dallas takes a 1-0 lead over Edmonton Oilers. So they just have 3 more wins to make it to the championship round. Their next game will be tomorrow. And Florida Panthers lead the Carolina Hurricanes 1-0 as well. Let's switch over to the NBA. Did anyone watch the game yesterday? Oh my goodness. I got to tell you. Well, I'll get to that game in a second, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has won the NBA MVP. Nikola Jokic finished second. Donovan Mitchell came in fifth with 74 total votes. LeBron James in sixth with 16. Cade Cunningham getting 12 votes. Anthony Edwards getting 12 as well. Giannis got 470 votes. Jason Tatum, 31. Now, wait a minute. Looking at the total votes here, they're all out of order. Why would Jason Tatum be above Donovan Mitchell? Donovan Mitchell came in fourth. Okay, that's pretty stupid. Jokic came in second, but yeah. SGA won the MVP, and they're the number 1 seed in the West. We will see if they're going to be able to top this NBA MVP season with a championship. But my goodness, that game yesterday, of course, Thunder do lead the Timberwolves 1-0 in the conference finals. Knicks were up big, and there was a late game flurry, and I can attest to this. The Cleveland Cavaliers were up on the Pacers pretty big, 19 points, I think, and blew it because the Pacers came back. They're a tough, a resilient, a well-coached team, and their three-pointer from Halliburton, I mean, it clanked as time was expiring, and then it went all the way up and went straight into the hoop. Turns out his foot was just on the line, so they called it a two-pointer. So instead of the win, it went to overtime, and the Pacers did get the lead there. They got the lead. They took it. They finished it off and got the win, rather. 1-0 lead. Game 2 will be tomorrow. Game 2 today is Oklahoma City and the Timberwolves. So check that out. That's kind of the extent of what I wanted to cover on sports. How many owners visited the Bad Islands? Oh my goodness. I did meet Jerry Jones. He tipped me $100 one time when I was bartending. 2 Jack and Cokes. $100. How about them Cowboys? Let's go. Oh, basketball barf. Well, the Heart Pacers. Yeah, couldn't we insert a Dick Cheney joke there? Maybe we could do a Dick Cheney joke. All right. Let's get into the news. Where's my button to click? All right, come on, Instagram, behave. Refreshing. Like iced tea on a hot day. It's refreshing. Okay. Where do I find the... Okay, I guess I'll do it that way. Let me share the page. This was shared from Bio Clandestine. This is the South African leader with President Trump. He brought the receipts, these victims and the chance to kill the farmer, kill the white man, kill the Boer. Bio Clandestine put this post out and said, if there was a foreign nation killing black farmers, the lying legacy media would have 24/7 coverage. Every Democrat would have the flag of that nation in their bio. The streets would be in flames and they would somehow be blaming Trump for it. But since it's white farmers, the left don't effing care. In fact, they're actively denying that it's happening and calling it a conspiracy theory. However much you hate these people, it is never enough. Thank you, Elon. Thank you, President Trump, for calling attention to this atrocity that's occurring in South Africa. Let's go through some of the best posts I found on Instagram yesterday covering the news. Samuel Fisher here makes a point. Keep billionaires out of politics. Which one? Soros? Reid Hoffman? Pritzker? Gates? Oh, you mean Elon Musk, the only one who doesn't fund the left or agree with you. That's an astute point. That's why they hate Elon now. They didn't used to. Hey, this is, graphic video warning. It's not that graphic. It all happens off camera, but TNAM preparedness. You should be prepared. Hey, by the way, check this out. Nimbus isn't in here, right? No, he's not. So I'll show you this. You know what this is? I was having lunch one day and I met a guy. Kablamo. So this is a nightstick kind of thing, a thumper. And it's a light. Pretty cool tool. But I was sitting next to a dude at the bar and he was explaining to me, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And he said, I got one of these. I go, what is this? And he showed it on Amazon. Oh, it needs charged. Oh, no, it doesn't. Here we go. Oh, it needs charged. Oh, wait, maybe it doesn't. Hold on. Oh, what a terrible explanation this has been. This is a zapper, and it's not zapping. It's supposed to go. Grrr, brrr. Well, shit. I guess I need to plug this in. I put this on my to-do list. Hey, there's a great point. If you're not prepared, you could be in trouble. And being prepared means making sure that your gear is functional. Having a guitar in your closet doesn't make you a musician any more than having tools at your disposal for self-defense makes you lethal. You got to know. You got to know that your stuff works. And this, I'm getting the red light, but I'm not able to activate it. Oh, I know why. See, I forgot there was a safety switch down here. Check this out. Yeah, I'm getting the red light, so it should be good. They're not a sponsor, but I'd like them to be. Ready? Look at that. All right. But, I don't go around using this every day. So, like, I forgot. If Lord help me, if I ever needed some help. There we go. There was an on-off switch. Because I was getting the light here saying, oh, okay, it's good. It's charged. It's ready to go. And I'm deploying it and nothing's happening. There's a safety switch on here. Off and on. All right. That couldn't have worked out any more beautifully. Yeah, oh, it's a bug zapper. It's a cockroach zapper. Vermin, scum, deuces, right? So here's a video. Mass shooter was taken out. DC Drano. But guys, seriously, that was a tutorial of exactly why you have to practice and know your gear. That sits there. It's like, okay, if for 100 reasons, if I need to have something like that, it doesn't do you any good if it's not working. You got to flip the switch at the bottom. I think I learned that now. It also has a ring you can put in your hand. It's a ring. And when you squeeze it, so like if you're out, I mean, that is a rattlesnake tail. You go, like you want to come over here and find out? You want to mess around and find out? I mean, anyone that's scared of pew-pews, get one of those. I need to get them as a sponsor. I need to get some sponsors. Yeah, I don't know. Get to it later. But anyway, here's a mass shooter. DC Drano shares this. Daniel Ortega, 34, went into the LVAC gym, Las Vegas, LVAC gym in Las Vegas, armed with a rifle, fired 24 rounds, ending one person's life and injuring several more. His rifle jammed, and he attempted to run away with it. But a Las Vegas officer neutralized him and saved many lives. Check this out. He's facing the wrong direction. A GD hero right now. I could watch this all day. Bump, bump, ba-dump. Bump. Just bravo. Yeah, he got 86th. Make 86ing bad guys popular again. Button. Apparently he used a Sig Sauer red dot. Okay, it doesn't matter what he used. Anyway, bravo. Zero hesitation. Yeah, just like it was a Tuesday. No biggie. And he's like, all right, man down. I don't think yeah, it was music. Bump, bump, ba-dump. Bum. I couldn't love this video anymore. You go and start just blasting innocent people. Yeah, I want you 86th immediately. Just, you need to go. You lost your free range privileges, son. Shame on you. Bravo to these cops. How cool was that, right? So you should always be prepared. Okay, well, this was breaking while I was doing the show yesterday with Mr. John B. Wells. And actually, at the end of the show, John was very, very cordial, very complimentary even. And he was like, Brian, it's pretty great how you were able to grab all of those videos in real time. He had nice words. I don't know exactly what he said, but, I complain sometimes, my kingdom for a producer. You know, that is one of the most fun aspects about all of the shows that I was doing with Blake. It was fun because I was able to do additional research, focus a little bit more energy on additional research and finding other things to add clips and add new stories and add new things and deal with the comments and try to highlight different stuff. It's tough when you're juggling all these on your own, but John thought it was pretty cool. He's like, maybe my equipment's antiquated. Or maybe you're just really good at what you're doing. I'm like, well, maybe it's both. I was like, hey, whatever. You need me to produce your show? You want me to help you learn how to use Restream? You want me some advice or some tips? I'm in. Whatever you need, man. Seriously, John's been a buddy of mine for 14 years, really. I heard him once on Coast to Coast, and I went, oh, I got to talk to this guy. He said in a previous interview that I was the first person to reach out to him for an interview. So I'll always hold the distinction of like, I was that first show. And so he's been gracious enough to come on. Yeah, make sure you check out his shows, Caravan to Midnight, and link up with him on Rumble. Subscribe to his channel and on YouTube as well. I think him, like Mike Barra, they do their shows and then they delete them so that they don't get their account removed. They'll let you watch during a live stream, but they can't leave it up. I don't know. It's such a stupid world we live in. Anyway, the point is here we go. This story was breaking yesterday. And John just got a real big kick out of, like, as we were discussing it in real time as it's happening, I was able to grab video from 23 minutes ago and just jump to it, and we got to watch it in real time. So here's what happened. President Trump, Elon Musk. President Trump brought a TV into the Oval Office and called out the South African government for the genocide of white farmers, and the South African president was shaken.
Now, this parliament can do, with or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us what
they can do whatever we want to do? Kick these people off their land.
Yeah. South African occupy land. That's who we are.
South Africa occupied land. People that have been farming that land since the 1600s. They're trying to kick them off because of their skin color. Vile.
From this useless parliament, yes, honorable member, must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because
in the revolution, at some point, there must be killing.
the killing is part of a revolutionary act.
The killing is part of a revolutionary act. He's calling for the genocide of white farmers.
Shoot to kill. No, sir. Kill the poor, the farmer.
How embarrassing.
Kill the poor.
And there are people in this crowd laughing and having a good time. Speaking of genocide.
There's nothing this parliament can do, with or without.
It's about damned time button. I think I need to either shorten that. I gotta delete the comment. Try this again. One less of these. How about two less? There we go. Now it should work. Okay, perfect. Thank you, President Trump, for calling this out.
There's nothing you can do. There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land.
And this is kind of what they were showing there. I'll just let it play from this source. Deb says, John was awesome, and I subbed to his channel yesterday. Yeah, I mean, he was so good on Coast to Coast Day. I mean, I've interviewed George Norrie. I've interviewed Ian Punnett. Rest in peace. I've interviewed, who else was on Coast to Coast? Lisa Garr at a Conscious Life Expo. Who else? What other guests on guest hosts on Coast to Coast did I interview? I don't know. But yeah, when I heard John on there, I'm like, I need to watch this. President Trump was embarrassing him. Yeah, but you know what? That racist POS, the South African clown, embarrassed himself. Yeah, don't try and lie to Trump. Really bad idea. Really bad idea. And Elon was shooting him a death gaze.
We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yes. South African occupy land. That's who we are.
Honorable member,
you want to do.
Speaker,
you can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament.
Honorable. Yes, honorable member.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution.
New York Times called it false claims.
At some point, there must be killing because the killing
ABC said it's
part
unfounded.
of the Revolutionary Act. Shoot to kill. Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor.
CNN called it a debunked conspiracy theory. Forbes said they were false claims. All the media does is lie. Pure trash.
Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer.
The mayor of DA in PE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man.
The ritualistic, sadistic, demonic torture of these people is something John had a really hard time even broaching the subject because it gets so gross so quick.
Not because Mashaba and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched, don't worry. But we are starting with this whiteness.
Starting with this whiteness.
We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Cutting the throat of whiteness. Fuck this guy.
To kill Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa. Pa. Brr, pa. Shoot to kill Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer.
You don't hate the legacy media enough. Ignoring this. While they push all their hoaxes.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, we have not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean,
not calling for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
You'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocidal call.
Cry babies.
You're a boar. We are going to hit them, and you are going to run. Shoot the white farmer. We are going to hit them. We're going to shoot them with the machine gun. They're going to run.
We will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not.
They're going to steal land from white people, whether they like it or not.
If they object, they can seek refuge in America.
Each cross represents a white farmer who was murdered in South Africa, and some people still deny the white South Africans, Boers, are persecuted and say they don't deserve asylum because they are white. All these crosses, called color their skin. Even cross after cross after cross after cross. The comment here says, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. George Orwell, 1984. Look at that. Every one of these is somebody who comes out tortured, being white. And that's what the Obama doctrine has been pushing for decades. White hatred, American hatred, Christian hatred, straight hatred, male hatred. It's just this mind virus, this rage. And it has been working to some degree, somehow. Guilt, shame. These kids are abused mentally year after year after year, starting in pre-K, starting as toddlers, going through elementary school, into high school, into college. These kids are brainwashed and abused to hate themselves, to feel guilt and shame for shit they didn't do to people who aren't in that classroom. It's just feel guilt, feel shame. And by the way, now that we got you, you're on our team. And if you're not, you must be a Nazi, right? You don't want to be a Nazi, right? You want to get an A in this class, right? You don't want to get tortured and killed in South Africa, do you? Then let's just go along with it. Look at Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago bragging about selecting black people for jobs over white people. Yeah, because they're more generous or something, he says. Blatant civil rights violations. Making skin color a determining factor in your hiring decisions. But guess what? It's been that way for several decades, probably 50 years or more. And we're finally starting to turn some of this around. Come back up, Nimbus. Come on. Come on, make the jump. Nimbus, I got a show to do. Come on. I don't have all day. All right, let me pick you up. I will pick you up. Here we go. Hey. All right, Nimbus is back. You don't hate the lying legacy media enough. People who hate are miserable souls. People who need God. They might need a Moab. Billy the Con Carson spewing his hate against Christian. I'm not sure about that. I'm not familiar with that guy, but I believe you. All of these problems are brutally murdered out there. Elon and President Trump. All these crosses. Disgusting.
There's nothing you can.
Anyway, thank you, President Trump. Yeah, this is maybe the post of the day. Taylor Day says, here's the look when you came for free money, but got 4K video of your country's genocide instead. That right there, post of the day. Busted, you racist clown. Robbie Starbuck here saying the Biden, shifting gears now. The Biden administration lied and people died. We were right about everything. Disclosed TV is reporting CDC and FDA officials were well aware of the risk of myocarditis following mRNA injections and took steps to downplay them. Scathing Senate report claims. Now, full disclosure, that Silencia that I give Mr. Nimbus, that is mRNA. I don't know, man. I listen to the same stuff you do. My understanding is mRNA is very dangerous, but it also saved this guy. If he lost his ambulatory ability, I mean, at 19 years old, 18 years old, it's like, well, I don't know what more what else we can do, buddy. I love you. And if you can't move around, and I mean, it gave him a new lease on life as he's purring. Such a sweet dude. New York Post was what Disclose TV was referencing. Starting in February 21, federal health agencies had been alerted to large reports of myocarditis in young people who received the Pfizer vaccine, but waited until late June that year to adjust the vaccine levels to make that side effect known. Oh, heads need to roll. even though CDC and FDA officials were well aware of the risk of myocarditis following COVID-19 vaccination, the Biden admin opted to withhold issuing a formal warning to the public for months about the safety concerns jeopardizing the health of young Americans. That's what a 54-page interim report said. My comment, we don't hate the deep state Democrats enough. Brett Lee puts this out and asks this question. Nimbus we give where'd he go? We give kisses all the time. I'll lean in and he'll lean in with his nose. Wait, hold on. How do I do this sideways? And okay, there we go. And he'll go like this, and we'll boop noses. We'll go boop. But like he will lick your nose if you stay there too long, and then he'll bite your nose sometimes. It's just he just kind of, I don't know, it's almost like a teething thing once he like gets in that mood. So like you got to be careful. But we've got it down to a science at this point. I mean, he's bitten my nose before, and it's not like a bite, but it's still a bite. He's the Tootsie Roll owl. 1, 2, 3, crunch. 3. Yeah, I mean, Nimbus will groom my hair, like my hair, the side of my face. Like I'm like, no, buddy, I love you, but not like that. Like, please, thank you. I always thank him. Thank you. I'll pet him on his head. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Brett Lee says, if a president is too cognitively impaired to speak, am I too cognitively impaired to speak coherently? If a president is too cognitively impaired to speak coherently or exercise sound judgment, then any use of the presidential auto pen to sign off on decisions is serious, as pardons should be considered null and void. I'm all in on this now. The Constitution grants the power of clemency to the president, not to a staffer, not to a machine, and not to a signature stamp used behind closed doors while the commander-in-chief is mentally unfit. I agree. What about you out there? What Brett just said? Constitution grants the power of clemency to the president, not a staffer or a machine, and not a signature stamp used behind closed doors while the commander-in-chief is mentally unfit. Do you agree with Brett? Or do you disagree? Yes, I have switched my coffee mug today. I'm no longer drinking the Rattlesnake Gadsden flag. I'm drinking the Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death. Also a great coffee cup. I need to make my own coffee cups, huh? Breaking. George Behezy tweets. Let me see if there's more stories here. Nope, just the one. FDA just ordered Pfizer and Moderna to update their COVID vaccine warnings to include heart injury risk in teen boys and young men. Bobby Kennedy is obliterating the big pharma cartel in front of our eyes. Bravo, Bobby. It's going to be time for big pharma to include warnings on their COVID vaccines, including heart injury risk for teen boys and young men. Hey, here's more TNAM preparedness. Watch this. Some guy driving, getting stuck. Bikers blocking the entire road.
Oh, man!
So he reaches out
the window. Oh, shit. Now I got pepper sprayed.
Went right up the moonroof and just sprayed some pepper spray.
Hey, somebody give this.
I've only been pepper sprayed once. That was on January 6th while I was filming the mostly peaceful protest. Have you guys all seen the footage that I shot of that? Raise your hand. Have you watched the footage that I shot on January 6th? Yes or no? I'm going to see if I can pull it up real quick. See if I can find it. Here, check this out. This is my footage. I'm very proud of it.
Oh, so it's getting to him.
This was the Capitol. So if people are going to say it was just people walking around taking pictures, that's not true. Now here he is, that guy comes out and he's aiming his weapon with the light on it, right above his head here. That guy. He's ready to start blasting. He did. All of these pepper spray, all these tear gas canisters being thrown around. They're chucking them inside of the Capitol, then they're chucking them back. They're chucking them out of the Capitol and they're going back in. They're up in the windows, they're trying to go in the flashing. Pepper grounded or a pepper or a restaurant. Hey, look at all this gas. You see all this gas? This is the moment that Jay surrendered and the stormtroopers came out.
Well, here they go.
And now you look right above the N in American media, right there at the bottom left. There's a guy that's like kneeling over that sitting area. I still don't know what happened to this dude, but he's right there. That cop walks over him. He goes to the ground. He sprawls out and he doesn't move again. You see all of this smoke, all of this tear gas, all this pepper spray, whatever you want to call it. I was elevated on scaffolding. Videographer.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah. I start to say, oh yeah, because I like now I'm getting whiffs of it, but when the wind whipped around the one time, I mean, it hit me. It was a direct impact. Let me see if you can hear me say that.
Okay, yeah.
I go, okay, yeah, and it was starting to get in my nostrils, into my eyes.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
I remember Blake Wally and I went on Mike Barra's show. Wasn't that night? It was the next day. Kind of broke it down because I think the narrative was, it was just a peaceful. I'm like, yeah, there was a peaceful protest component. Yeah, 98% of the people there, but like this also happened at the Stop the Steal rally.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting out of here.
That's right. Okay, right there. I say, okay, yeah, I'm getting out of here because it was getting more and more difficult to just exist with this airspace. I didn't have a respirator. I didn't have a eye protection. There's a mental note. If you go to an event that could get out of hand, you need eye protection, probably some form of respirator.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting out of here.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting out of here. It's interesting, Deb, your comment that's on the screen that says, damn, Brian, you're lucky you didn't get hurt or arrested. That comment isn't on my screen. I don't see it. but it's on the screen, which is weird. Oh, your cat was 22 that used to do that. That's awesome. Give me coffee or go away. Give me liberty or give me death. I got peppered. You got peppered. Yeah, wasn't that a Dr. Pepper commercial? Yeah, Blake and I were there on Jan 6. Ford Fisher was there. We were with him before and after and ended up licensing this footage to him, and it's been used in a lot of stuff. Laura Logan's used it in some stuff. I don't know. It's been used in many places. He bought a non-exclusive right to license it exclusively for, what did we negotiate? 10 years? But then at that point, I can license it and make my own money off of it because I felt this is historically relevant. So he'll be able to keep it in his library and license it forever. I will also have the ability to license it after 10 years. From January. So I'm like 6 years, 5.5 years away from getting it placed in things. But yeah, wow, get the hell out of Dodge. Run, son. Son, run. Uh-huh. Well, let me just finish playing this out since we're... Hey, tell me in the comments. Say, yes, I've watched this before, or no, this is my first time watching this. Because you know what? This was a historically relevant event. This will never be forgotten. This was the day the rattlesnake shook its tail and said, we know what you're doing. That's how I took it. That was my interpretation of the event. When I say we, I mean they. I was there as an observer. I had no agenda. I had no marching orders. I was there as a journalist to... Yeah. I don't know. I was just there to document what happened and talk to people. But yeah, super historically relevant event. Flashbangs, gas. Watch this new round of gas. Getting up, pushing everybody back. And look at the wind, it's coming right at me. You can see it?
Oh, here it comes.
Oh, here it comes.
Oh, here it comes. Oh, here it comes.
Look at all that smoke. Coming around and coming right up toward me. That was the end because I was gassed out right there. I meant to switch to Instagram. There we go. Get it back on this. But yeah.
Dude, he did across the map on him.
I seen it, bro.
He was like over his car.
I thought he was waving.
The guy, I thought that guy was waving. No, he held the pepper spray up out of the sunroof. Or was it a moonroof? What is the difference between a sunroof and a moonroof? I'm sure there is. And he sprayed it and it got all these guys. It messed
Hey,
them
we
up.
got you some milk. You want that milk? We got milk.
So they got milk to rinse in people's eyes. But we had water. I climbed down. Let me switch the aspect ratio here. Get the comments back up. Oh, are you serious? That's crazy. Deb is saying, I've seen this footage before, Brian, but I didn't know that it was yours. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so if you saw it in other contexts with my stamp on it, the New American Media, you saw it from a source that we put it out as. If you saw the footage without the stamp, that's something that Ford Fisher licensed out. Kenneth, you've never seen that before. Yeah. I don't just do shows. I get out in the field. We went to all the conventions this year. You watch the intro, the interview, or the Agree to Disagree show intro, the promo that Blake made, and then I was able to kind of splice together for this revised version. I'm still going to keep revising it. I got to add a couple things. I got to figure out how to get a good screen grab going. But yeah, we go out in the field. We go into chaos. We went to Bundy Ranch. We went to Occupy LA. We went to the conventions. Went to, what other dicey spots have we been? Chicago convention was weird. Yeah, pepper spray. Be prepared, people. Have some tools on you. When I climbed down the scaffolding, and it was tough, I'm holding onto the rails, and I'm having a hard time breathing, and everything is fuzzy. I'm having a hard time seeing, and my eyes just will not stay. They're just like force clenching, and I'm trying to make my way down the scaffolding, and I can barely see. When I got down, there were medics, and they're like, "Does anyone need help?" I'm like, "Yes. Yes, I do." Actually, let me ask. This one guy wants to license it. I don't know. I kind of just shut up. Okay. But there were medics. I wonder if I can find that video. Can't quite find it. Anyway, there were medics down there that were helping me, and they were rinsing out our eyes to like get the pepper spray. And I remember going in. There's some like a trailer or something, and it was a bathroom, and I went in there and tried to wash my hands and wash my face, and I'm like remembering it, and I took this picture, and my eyes were all bloodshot, and I was angry. I was like, "What the hell is good?" I was just like, "I didn't do anything. I didn't deserve that." I didn't do nothing. Why did that happen to me? Oh! Yeah, you got to rinse your eyes out. We used water, but they're using milk. What a bunch of jerk bikers blocking all the lanes. They deserve every moment of that.
Oh, Mace! He maced us!
Anyway, we're saying America is healing. My point is be ready, be prepared, have a plan, have some tools, understand how to use them. All right, here's that judge up in Milwaukee.
First time we're seeing Judge Hannah Dugan outside her courtroom April 18th wearing her black robes, appearing to confront several federal agents there to arrest Eduardo Flores Ruiz, a Milwaukee man and Mexican national charged locally with 3 counts of domestic battery. This video, released by Milwaukee County through an open records request, is part of the evidence in the case against Judge Dugan, who's charged with obstructing a federal investigation concealing Flores Ruiz, allowing him to leave her courtroom by a different door after sending the agents to speak to the chief judge. Flores Ruiz, dressed in black with his attorney, is seen in several of the videos leaving by that other door. One prosecutors say was used by jurors and not open to the public. As he leaves, though, he is seen in the hallway, followed by another agent. As Flores Ruiz gets into the elevator to leave, the agent slips in as well. According to the criminal complaint against Dugan, that agent followed them down. The agent seen here following out of the building downstairs, and once backup arrived, they tried to arrest Flores Ruiz, who another video shows ran north in front of the courthouse for nearly a block before agents caught up with him and arrested him. Federal agents arrested Dugan herself a week later. For the first time, we're seeing Judge Hannah Dugan outside her courtroom April 18th, where...
So we just said, finally, indictments are beginning. It's time to ramp this up and go get all of the traitors. This is not a judge. This is a traitor. That's a treasonous act. This fact check will forever live in history. Remember this?
As of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world. The first time this century. What? But let's understand.
So where the fuck are we right now?
As of today.
Such a nitwit. Never forgive the Democrats for rigging their primaries to force this Kamala crap upon us. Spelled crap with a K. Gave her the clowny face. Was that too mean? I did that. Did I do that? Hey, question of the day. What's that from? Did I do that?
But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Shoot to kill. Come on, sir.
There it is again. Notice this mass formation psychosis across the globe. Root it out and reverse course immediately. I'm going to call it anti-white. You know, because I am white. I do identify as white. And I'm kind of sick of the shit. What did I do to anybody? Stay out of my face. Stay out of... Don't put a target on my back. Get the hell out of here. Humans, look, we should be able to do what we want to do. We should be able to live our lives. We should be able to have a good time without being hunted and persecuted. Oh, yeah? Well, now you know what it feels like. Weren't we told an eye for an eye leaves the world blind? And by the way, punishing somebody who didn't do anything for something that didn't happen to you is a fucking mental disorder. So go fix yourself. Sorry the schools abused you. Sorry you listened to Democrats. Sorry you listened to your lying legacy media and your abusive, brainwashing, brain damage inducing teachers that made you feel shame and guilt for things you didn't do. Oh, there's historical wrongs that need to be righted. Get rid of your anti-white trash and do it now. Yes, it was from Family Matters. You called him Jerkle? Jerkle. But it is. It's an anti-white mass formation psychosis, and it is across the globe. It needs to be rooted out, and we need to reverse course immediately. Thank you, President Trump. Oh, my God. Did you see this? Talk about shame, bringing shame to your family and mass formation psychosis. So Trump honored this woman's slain father, a heroic cop who died in the line of duty. It's this lady that goes up here. President Trump hosts an event celebrating law enforcement. Her father was gunned down in the line of duty. Greets her and says, standing there behind him. Here's the daughter. Presents her with the medal. Get the look on her face. Look at how the eyelids are droopy, kind of slouchy, kind of frowny. Won't even make eye contact.
So this is actually my worst nightmare.
Okay, did you catch that? This is actually my worst nightmare.
To go viral, become a meme, whatever.
To go viral and become a meme, whatever.
I literally just landed back home and I got a text from my friend that was like, "You're going viral," and I was like, God no. To cover some points, not a cop, not a Republican. I was there. I received that medal because my dad died line of duty along with 2 other officers alongside him last year in Palm Beach, it was a huge news story. That's also why Trump is so involved, because it was in Palm Beach. And yeah, free Palestine.
Did you catch all that? Worst nightmare, huh? Your dad dying wasn't your worst nightmare? Shame on you. Tyler Fisher says she can go accept an award in Palestine. Libs Going Dumb says Trump derangement syndrome is real. Symptoms may include the inability to set aside your entitlement even when the leader of the free world is honoring your slain father. May her brave father rest in peace. What a spoiled, entitled brat, says the truth about cancer tech. She brings shame to her father and family. This generation is in big trouble with people like this. Just the comments are... somehow made that about her. President Trump doing a good thing and trying to honor service and honor. Couldn't even... that had to become about her somehow. Oh, I've gone viral. I'm a meme. Bless her family and shame on her. All right, the Patrick Bet David podcast put this out because after President Trump diplomatically smacked the leaders of South Africa on the wrist for their stunning, disgusting, demonic, deep state-driven, globalist-pushed, Obama doctrine multiplying efforts to hate white people, kill white people, and steal their shit. Turns out a new mass formation psychosis occurred when they all got their script. So let's listen to what all of the media outlets of the lying legacy media had to say about what happened when President Trump called out that anti-white, racist, genocidal madness in South Africa.
Dramatic scene in the Oval Office today. The tense confrontation, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
Up next.
Oh, ambushing. Wow. You mean like the white farmers were ambushed and tortured and killed when grandmothers had to watch their 3 children get AR'd in front of her till she collapsed and died of a heart attack of shock and imagine watching your 3 grandchildren get defiled by monsters who hate you for your skin color. See, that's an ambush. But they continue.
Another Oval Office meltdown. President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
Oh, it's a meltdown. Oh, it's a meltdown. You know what makes me melt down? Racist calls to kill people that look like me. You kind of take it personally. That feels like a meltdown. You want a meltdown? Why don't you discuss the context and the content of what was shown? No, you want to focus on an ambush.
President Trump is being accused of conducting something of a diplomatic ambush.
Oh, there it is. A diplomatic ambush. Oh, something of a You mean calling them out for their bullshit? Yeah. That's another way to say it.
South Africa's president in the Oval Office.
To be with you, I'm Katie Tur. President Trump orchestrated another Oval Office ambush.
Oh, an Oval Office ambush.
Today,
Donald Trump meeting with the president of South Africa and attempting to ambush and humiliate.
Oh, ambush and humiliate a disgusting, vile racist who should be behind bars. Oh?
That leader.
Zelensky territory.
Oh, that leader. No, leaders don't call for killing the white people. No, leaders don't do that. Demons do. Fuck them.
Where essentially he was a bit ambushed inside the Oval Office.
A bit ambushed. Oh, you mean taking accountability for your actions? I guess if that's what you mean by ambush.
Felt like an ambush in there, kind of like the President Zelensky.
Did it? Kind of like an ambush in there.
Meeting in the Oval Office.
This was an ambush.
Oh, was it an ambush? They said Bush.
It was.
That's my Elon. I'm working on it.
Orchestrated.
Cyril Ramaphosa brought his best diplomatic self to this meeting, but nothing could have prepared him for this multimedia ambush.
What started as, to some degree, an ambush.
Well, Katie, I mean, it was an ambush.
Ambush.
Ambushed. Ambush.
An ambush.
Ambushing.
Ambushed inside the Oval Office.
The dramatic scene in the Oval Office today.
There you go. Their talking points memo came out. Bunch of parrots. I'm going to ask Grok if this was ever a thing. I'm tempted to believe that it wasn't. Oh, by the way, let me show you this. As I looked on my Grok feed, I saw this, so I'll just share it. I think I showed you this the other day. Maybe in case you missed it, I'll just show you again. It's only a couple seconds. Hold on. Let's go full screen. Did you ever see when I was in the Bronx reporting at the President Trump rally a month and a half before he was shot in Butler? reporting for Real America's Voice on human events with Jack Posobiec. Check this out. I'm 1 day away from this being 1 year ago. My God, it feels like a month ago.
People yelling behind, they were just chanting USA. The energy here is exciting. You hear people yelling behind, they were just chanting USA. You have people performing music. The energy is off the charts. This is not a traditional area that Republicans have bothered to communicate with. But after seeing the past 3.5 years, people are ready for a change. I spoke with a woman that said one of her elderly friends was cracked in the head and severely injured on a subway. That's just unacceptable to be abusing elderly women in a great city like this. The great American cities are really struggling right now under the weight of what Biden's done at the border, and it's palpable. The people have seen the past 3.5 years, and they are ready for a change. That's for sure. The energy.
So that was part of my report with Jack, and then I did another segment with another show after that. And then they used several of my clips on with Bannon's show later in the evening. So that's kind of cool. But let me ask Grok. Let me go back to this tab. Let me click on another OpenX link here to ask Grok. Did Bill Gates post about, how was that phrased? Vaccines in our food supply solve the problem of vaccine hesitancy. Vaccines in our food supply solves the problem of vaccine hesitancy. I think I spelled hesitancy wrong. Grok is searching. No, Bill Gates did not say that. Claims about a tweet stem from a fabricated screenshot circulating social media in 23. Appeared to show a tweet from Gates. No such tweet was ever posted. Searches of Gates' verified Twitter accounts and archives found no evidence of the statement. The claim originated from a misleading article by News Punch, which spreads misinformation. Represented an 18 video of Gates discussing livestock vaccines, not human food supplies. But that was our question. Here, let me put your comments back up. Let me put me back up. Hey, there I am. But if I remove the design element here, there you go. It says, this isn't a real Gates tweet, is it? But here, people have talked about it, whether it's World Economic Forum members, whether it's Bill Gates, whether it's other psychopaths that think the world's overpopulated, so they want to end us all. And that's what they've been drilling into the skulls of people my whole life. The world's overpopulated with too many people, Save the earth, save the planet, green, green, green. It's like, you guys are a nut job cult. Countries are not replacing their people at a survival rate. We're dooming ourselves as a species. Anyway, but here's how the line of thought would go if this was a real tweet, which it's seeming to be not a real tweet. Vaccines in our food supply solve the problem of vaccine hesitancy. The reply is, yeah, in the same way slipping a roofie in a girl's drink solves the problem of sex hesitancy. By the way, that could be a guy too. Anyone who puts drugs into food or drinks without consent needs to go to prison. Okay, Diddy. Okay, Cosby. But anyway, I'm glad to see that my instinct of that not being a real Gates tweet. You can usually tell, like, the font will be off. It looks like photoshopped a couple of times. It's fuzzy. So, yeah, my instinct was right on that. Let's continue. This person is saying, in July 5 of 22, along the Central Oregon coast, an individual took a 1/4 pint sample between those hours of rainwater. After 4 days of very dry weather with heavy chemtrail spraying, the results from 3 separate lab tests confirmed all this metal in the water: aluminum, lithium, barium, zinc, copper, cadmium, lead, silver, sulfate, silica, mercury. Look, we got to clean up our air. Period. Whether this is specifically true, whether it's partially true, I don't give a shit, and I don't need you to flag this for misinformation. You want your countervailing views to say, no, they're just contrails. It's just condensation. That's all. That's all. Nothing would ever be sprayed in the sky, even though we all know that it is. And we all look up and see it. The checkerboard patterns. And then an hour later, it's all just a milky, hazy, smoggy shit show. Go find your deep state countervailing views who are going to lie to you. On health and elections, cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control. You don't want to believe that there's actual chemtrails up in the sky. That's a dangerous rumor. Wah, wah. Hey, I heard this, and this was pretty interesting. Because I was somebody who was told that I have hyperactivity, ADD, ADHD, whatever you want to call it. And I was put on medication, speed, as a kid. I finally took myself off of it in middle school. And my grades noticed a bit of a difference, but, you know, my interests were changing as well. But this explanation of ADHD kind of makes sense. What if you think about ADHD in the lens of sex? I bet Deb would understand this based on those comments. Here we go.
A sexual example for you for what it's like to have ADD. I said having ADD is like having erectile dysfunction of the mind. If the task you're trying to do is something that turns you on, you're up for it and you can perform. But if the task you're trying to do is not something that's intrinsically interesting, if it doesn't turn you on, you can't get it up. But if you can't get it up, you're not going to be able to perform. And in that situation, it does not matter how much you may say to yourself, I need to, I really ought to, I should. You can't make it happen because it is simply not a willpower kind of thing. And I think that is the most difficult problem that most people have in understanding this disorder, because it looks for all the world as though it is a problem with willpower. You can do it here, why the hell can't you do it there? When in fact, it's not. It's a problem with the chemistry of the brain.
That's wild. That was maybe the best way I've heard that described. The comments, trapped within the decay, says, fuck, I need to clean my room. That's me every day for the past 6 months. Dirty Dyke says, I'm using this to get out of everything. Nice one. It's Saren Brody says, most sensible explanation of ADHD that I've ever heard. My toxic trait, says Tinley Art, my toxic trait is heavily agreeing with this, but at the same time insisting I have the willpower to override and do anything at any time, because what's so hard about forcing yourself to do something and then proceeding to not do anything at all? Erectile dysfunction of the brain. Very interesting explanation. I thought was worth sharing. All right. Let's find out what's going on with illegal aliens. Well, just take a look at this story. You know, it's not that important. Why should we even care? We don't need to deport. Oh, yeah, we do.
Listen to this. He went about his life as a teenage student at a high school in Ohio, but police there say that is all fiction, and that in reality, he's actually a 24-year-old Venezuelan migrant. Bill Malugin is following this wild story for us. Bill, what happened here?
Yeah, Aisha, really bizarre story out of the state of Ohio. That's where police have arrested a 24-year-old Venezuelan man who they say was pretending to be a 16-year-old unaccompanied minor. Also, he could attend a local high school, which he was doing successfully for almost a year and a half. Take a look. Police in Perrysburg, Ohio, arresting Anthony Emmanuel Labrador Sierra on Monday. He's now charged with felony.
Anthony Emmanuel Labrador Sierra. What is with the 4 names now? So many of these illegal aliens have at least 4 names and 1 or 2 hyphens. Dang, here, you'll hear the rest.
Forgery. DHS tells Fox he's a visa overstay who first.
And by the way, all right, so he's a visa overstay. And I've known a visa overstay, and they were cool. That's, you know, it's still not okay.
First came to the U.S. in 2019 and was a recipient of temporary protective status, aka TPS. He was arrested during a traffic.
Yeah, we're gonna need those TPS reports. Oh, arrested during a traffic
stop in which he was the passenger of a car, and he's now facing charges for enrolling in the school fraudulently. According to the local school district, he was living with 2 adult legal guardians who contacted them after they discovered he was a 24-year-old man, not a teenager, reportedly after the mother of his child turned him in and revealed his true identity to them. The school district says when he enrolled, he had forged documents, including
mother of his child. Forged documents.
An Ohio driver's license, a social security number.
Oh, a social security number. All that shit that Elon, who got turned into a Nazi somehow. Oh, he was the left's golden child until he started speaking honestly. All of those social security numbers deleted. Good luck cheating next time. Oh, they're going to try. But man, did we take a bite out of that apparatus. Get rid of the illegal aliens, we might get our country back.
And DHS TPS documents.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and need you to get me those TPS reports. Yeah. So if you could go ahead and come in over the weekend, I'd really appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah. Have you had a chance to finish those TPS reports? What's that movie from? What movie is that line from?
He was even playing on the high school's JV soccer and swim teams.
Okay. Did you catch that? He's even playing on the high school JV soccer and swim team. JV! You can't make varsity as a 24-year-old dude? What a loser.
In a statement, the school district said the suspect's deception was complex and that multiple agencies were misled by his falsified records. Now, ICE does confirm to Fox News they have placed a detainer request on Labrador Sierra with local law enforcement. He's being held on $50,000 bond. His next court appearance is set for May 29th.
Listen to this.
That is nutty. How many more of these cases are across the country? I'd love to find out. And we're wondering, are there any Joe Biden parallels? Cosplaying gone wrong. We called him resident with a P in brackets. Cosplaying gone wrong. Biden pretending to be president. What an absolute.
How big of
you know the thing.
factor was the Hunter stuff?
I think it was considerable. I think Hunter was driving the decision making for the family in a
Hunter was driving the decision making for the family. And guess what? That means Hunter Biden might have been our president. How holy shit. You want to know why everything was so wrong for so long? Well, this is Jake Tapper admitting to a lot.
way that people, he was almost like a chief of staff of the family.
Does that strike you as pretty bizarre?
It's bizarre because I think he is provably, demonstrably unethical, sleazy, and prone to horrible decisions. I mean,
Tell me how you really.
Okay, hold on. Unethical, sleazy, and prone to bad decisions. Sounds just like Jake Crapper to us. I called him Jake Crapper.
Feel.
Well, I mean, just look at the record. I mean, after his brother died, he cheated on his wife with his brother's widow and then got her addicted to crack. That's just one thing I could say. I mean, I don't have a lot of personal regard for him, and just based on having nothing to do with, I barely have ever met him. I've met him like once or twice, but I knew Bo. Bo was a great, upstanding guy.
I knew him too. Really,
a real loss for the country too, not just for his family, for the country. But Hunter is not that, and the idea of, letting him drive the family car, as it were, is just really, really questionable.
How big a factor?
Yeah. Unethical, sleazy, and prone to bad decisions. Sounds just like Jake Crapper to us. Was that too harsh of a comment? Jake Tapper is fake news. Yes, you're right. It was Office Space. Australian Associated Press wants to tell you third-party fact checkers say this is false. I thought Instagram got rid of this crap. Listen to this lady in her own words at the World Economic Forum and try to... Is this a lady or a guy? That looks like a guy. Is this a guy?
That's also
dressed like a lady? I mean, just what am I even looking at? But let's listen here to what they say and make your own opinion.
of course true with COVID, right? We are all only as healthy as our neighbor is on our street, in our city, in our region, in our nation, and globally. And did we solve that? Like, did we actually manage to vaccinate everyone in the world? No. So highlighting water as a global commons and what it means to work together and see it both.
They were unable to get everybody vaccinated on the globe. She said that with frustration. It sounded like he or she said that with frustration, is how I felt that to be.
Out of that kind of global commons perspective, but also the self-interest perspective, because it does have that parallel. It's not only important, but it's also important because we haven't managed to solve those problems which had similar attributes. And water is something that people understand. You know, climate change is a bit abstract. Some people understand it really well. Some understand it a bit. Some just don't understand it. Water, every kid knows how important it is to have water. When you're playing football and you're thirsty, you need water. So there's
or you need electrolytes. Electrolytes, that's what the body craves. What's that from?
Also something about really getting citizen engagement around this and really, in some ways, experimenting with this notion of the common good. Can we actually deliver this time in ways that we have failed?
Experimenting with the common good to deliver in ways that they've been unable to deliver to in the past. Sure sounds to me like they're trying to put vaccines into the water.
Miserably other times, and hopefully we won't keep failing on the other things, but anyway, that's also of course.
Look, I'm allowed to read between the lines with their 2030 agenda, all their bullshit. I'm allowed to do that. They're going to restrict water. They're going to dry up reservoirs. They're going to contaminate water. What are they actually talking about with water? They have an obsession with control. Yeah, and is it a guy? They're saying that in the comments. Okay, more people are saying that in the comments, so I picked up on that too. Anyway, you make your determination if you think that they're warning or that they're telegraphing they're going to do something with the water to maybe force you into compliance or to deliver stuff they couldn't get you to voluntarily sign up for. All right, Johnny Maga says Trump pulled the strings for the House to pass the largest tax cut in history today. If you earn between $30,000 and $80,000, your taxes will be cut a whopping 15%. If you're a server or a bartender, you can enjoy tax-free tips. Overtime pay no longer will be taxed. Actually, I have a question about that. Explain the details of overtime not being taxed. Big, beautiful bill. Because with the no tax on tips, that's going to be for the first $25,000 that you declare. Joe was by then. Jake Crapper, not a harsh comment. That's good. Because I decided to make it. Because I can call myself a comedian now. Kenneth, did you watch my new set? Did I send you my new set? I don't remember. I did another one yesterday. Going back to pole dancing. There you go. No tax on tips. No tax on tits. See, there's a play on words. All right. Scope and eligibility of overtime tax exemption. Extra pay, the half in time and a half, typically 1.5 times the regular hour rate, applying to both employees reported on Form W-2 and independent contractors on a 1099, requiring a work-eligible Social Security number to claim it. Deduction is not available to highly compensated employees, defined as those earning above $160,000, adjusted for inflation in future years. Tipped income excluded from this deduction to prevent double tax benefits with a separate no tax on tips provision. This exemption is temporary, 25 through 28, set to expire after 28 unless extended. Only applies to federal income tax, not to payroll taxes, Social Security and Medicare, or FICA. Overtime wages remain subject to these taxes. Okay, so, there's some fine print. It's an above-the-line deduction, reducing taxable income whether the taxpayer itemizes or takes the standard deduction. You're suggesting a cap of 10 grand for individuals, 20 for merit. A related bill with the benefit phasing out all individuals with adjusted gross income above 100,000. Okay, so hey, all right, some provisions there, but my Polish cousin was a pole dancer. What's a city in Poland? Why don't I have a bunch of those lined up in my brain? Luxembourg? No. Poland. Warsaw, yes. There we go. Krakow. Okay. Tods? Something I can't read. All right, those are the two big ones. Warsaw and Krakow. Anyway, he says, thank you, Mr. President. And the comments, how about we just eliminate the IRS completely? Taxation is theft. Okay. And that's what I had to share with you on Instagram. Let's go to our profile on X and buzz through the rest of the news for you. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Our Patreon link is pinned to the top here if anyone wants to sign up. What is this? A developing story in St. Louis? Peachy Keenan reporting, this woman only had one job. That's a woman? Pressing the tornado siren button for all of St. Louis, and she forgot to do it. Many people died because they didn't hear a siren. What? Let me see if I can verify this story. SEMA? Let's try Grok. CEMA. Tornado. Button. Failure. Breakdown in protocol. SEMA staff, Commissioner Sarah Russell, attending a workshop a half mile away from the office where one of the activation buttons was located. Why shouldn't you be able to do that remotely from your phone and just make a phone call and press number 7 and you activate it? Figure that out. I'm always thinking like, all right, if something failed, how do you fix it for the future? Fire department. Okay. What is this? There was a communication breakdown, a request to do it. Recording the call shows Russell confirming the tornado warning, but not explicitly instructing the fire department to press the button, ending with, okay, you got the sirens? The fire department confirmed awareness, but did not activate the sirens. Mechanical failure test on May 20. The activation button at the fire department was not functioning, which was a previously unknown issue. Okay. So they're looking into it. I don't know. Mayor Kara Spencer placed Russell on paid administrative leave pending an external investigation. Spencer cited multiple failures and unclear protocols. All right, well, was this person capable? Was this a DEI hire? What do you mean? She's white. Well, she's a lady, and I mean, if you glance at an appearance, I'm guessing she might be a member of the flag community. Or a guy identifying as a girl. I don't know what I'm just off the top of my head. You always wonder if the people in charge have any idea of what they're doing or if they're just a DEI hire these days. So I'm going to go ahead and grant a little bit of leniency on this case because they're looking into it and there could be multiple problems with it. And you should, by the way, they should give somebody the ability to activate it from your phone remotely. Call this phone number and enter code 7382 £. Bam, fire it. Like, she should have had that tool at her disposal. And anyway, I saw that story. It sounded interesting. Always got to figure out ways to level up. So what is this? I don't know what they're citing here. There's no article. But Walter Kurt is reporting for the WC Dispatch. What's that? $89,000 followers. Walter Kurt saying Ed Martin is stating that a whistleblower came forward in the auto pen scandal. He's citing the Blaze. Okay. DOJ pardon chief Ed Martin. Oh boy. So now he's the pardon chief. Here we go. Let's go get Fauci. Let's go get fucking Fauci. Oh, I want him in a jail cell. DOJ pardon chief Ed Martin is digging into Biden's last minute auto pen pardons. A whistleblower says a tight inner circle ran the robot pen. The names Ron Klain, Anita Dunn, Bob Bauer, Steve Ricchetti, and Jill Biden. Some targets already hired lawyers. Oh, God, yes, here we go. Let's freaking go. Oversight sleuths found the same machine signature on Fauci and Milley pardons. House Chair James Comer calls it the biggest scandal in U.S. history. Trump brands the scheme treason at the highest level, saying it's getting interesting. This is Jesse Waters discussing the reporting on the auto pen and payouts. Bribery, most foul, people. Bribery. Treason. At the highest of levels. Here's Jesse Waters.
Biden was a ghost in his own White House. Republican Congressman Tim Burchett from Tennessee says those thousands of pardons that Biden signed, those were auto-penned. And White House aides may have gotten rich.
You're going to find staffers that were able to take forms, get them, and run them through some sort of bogus legal system, and then they auto-penned them. And there's probably people out on the street that shouldn't be, but somebody got rich off that. And I think those people, I hate to say it, but you'll see something probably horrible happen to some of those people because it goes up the chain. This is a very dangerous town to play games in.
And White House aides, Biden was a ghost in his own White House. Republican Congressman Tim Burchett from Tennessee says those thousands of pardons that Biden signed, those were auto-penned. And White House aides may have gotten rich.
You're going to find staffers that were able to take forms, get them, and run them through some sort of bogus legal.
All right, there's the repeat part of that there. Let's go get them. Let's go get them. Anita Dunn. How about Anita Bath? Common sense won't work when people won't change. This is a conversation. Thomas Sowell quotes. This is RFK Jr.
Began circulating.
Okay.
A month later, you have in New York City these Bill Gates.
Let me just cut to the chase here. You have in New York City Bill Gates hosting a coronavirus pandemic simulation. His co-host is Avril Haines, the deputy director of the CIA. Almost as if the COVID release, don't call it a lab leak, call it a release of COVID, almost as if it was planned and intentional, and that Fauci is the biggest serial killer in the history of mankind, almost as if he's still a walking free, almost walking free, the biggest, most despicable serial killer, mass murderer in human history, Anthony Fauci, walking free, while my mother's in the ground. A couple weeks before the pandemic shut the world down, she went into the hospital and couldn't breathe and kept getting respiratory treatments and couldn't breathe, and then she died. Oh, and then 2.5 years later, same thing happened to my brother. Couldn't breathe, went to the hospital, gave him remdesivir, kept HCQ and vitamin C drip and the Merrick protocol and ivermectin and, real drugs that some people said helped him because nothing they did helped him, and slid him into a casket. Yep. CIA, traitors, demons, if they in fact worked with Bill Gates and Fauci to release this pandemic on the world for a multitude of reasons. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how this played out. And I demand justice, as we all should. So check out that full 5-minute video. You trying to, what? Well, jump up, come on. You jump up on the desk, then here, jump on the desk. Come on. I've had to buy Nimbus ramps, by the way. Yeah, ready? I'm going to scuff you. And I'm going to lift you. Whee! Hi, buddy. Okay, we're going to hang out here. Yeah. Situate yourself. You good? Okay. If there's a lab leak, go see a veterinarian. Not a Labrador. A Labra window. Anyway. Where's the settings? Hold on. Nimbus, you changed the channel. I love you. Here, let me move this. Here, you can have some space right there. You're good. No, don't step on the computer. I need to give Nimbus his own space over here. He's a wrecking ball. I love him, but my goodness. All right, so check that out. Valerie Ann Smith is putting this conversation out there. By the way, I need to put the countervailing views, for fuck's sake, under duress, health and elections, cdc.gov, who.int, and visit cisa.gov/rumor control, because they want to tell you the opposite of reality is happening. So this is about remdesivir, declared too deadly and unethical to use in African Ebola trials because it had a 53% kill rate, yet it was the only drug Fauci allowed to be used on COVID patients in hospitals. Families whose loved ones were killed by remdesivir call it run death is near. Remdesivir kills kidney function. Combine that with a ventilator, and patients develop pulmonary edema, causing their lungs to fill with fluid and drown to death. Remdesivir kills the liver and causes organ shutdown, allegedly. Oh, sorry, bud. In the halted Ebola trial, remdesivir mortality was 53%. Do you not need to move the cup of coffee too, bud? You good? Okay, you good? In the halted Ebola trial, remdesivir mortality is 53% overall and 85% in those with high viral load. I think my brother had a high dose, had a high COVID count. Anyway, Fauci knew. Hey, let me just listen to this.
Remember that in 2018, remdesivir, one of my favorite targets, remdesivir was too unethical to put into Ebola clinical trials in Africa because it had a 53% kill rate published in medical journals. Ebola doesn't have a
Speaker David Martin, video forever sovereign.
53% kill rate.
You can agree or disagree with him, but this is the report he's saying. You can agree or disagree with him.
Right. But it was chosen in April and May of 2020 to be the drug of choice to treat COVID. This drug was too unethical to use in an African clinical trial because it was killing 53% of the people that it was given to. And we had Anthony Fauci Deborah Burke sitting next to the president going,
I will never forgive these fuckers for what they did. Fucking never forgive these assholes. God, they all need to be behind bars, and it needs to happen fast.
we need to use remdesivir, despite the fact that the World Health Organization said it was unethical to use it. Here's the problem. The problem is, as long as the financial interest that dictates what product is going to be promoted is the one making the declaration of the pandemic, we have no possibility for accountability. We have no possibility for justice. And what we do is we allow people who were formed out of the eugenics office, Carnegie Mellon in 1913, that same group of people that were the same group of people that established the World Health Organization in 1953, that same group of people are the ones who are making this decision. And I don't know how you feel about eugenics, but I have a problem with it.
There you go. Senator Ron Johnson, he's asking about science. He's talking to Dr. Peter McCullough. Finally, we get some adults discussing the elephants in the room and telling some truth here.
And do you have any science to back up your opinion?
The best data are autopsies. So
talking about autopsies and mRNA vaccine as cause of death after vaccination. Here we go.
The largest autopsy series published to date, I know because I'm the senior author. Of all the deaths we examined, and we re-reviewed them, we had an adjudication committee, we had ways of arbitration, deciding on did the vaccine cause death. The answer is, of these cases that came in for autopsy after vaccination, 73.9% of individuals, it was determined that the vaccine was the cause of death. First author is Holscher and colleagues. He's sitting right behind me.
And do you have any science to back up your opinion?
The best data are autopsies. So in the largest autopsy series.
So, who's been lying to us and what's going to be done about it? President Ramaphosa, South Africa.
The question of land, the land of our forefathers and our foremothers.
The land of our forefathers and foremothers
Must return to our people.
Must return to our people. If the Danish were there from the 1600s, what in the hell is he even talking about?
Without any fail and without any payment of compensation.
Without any fail and without any payment of compensation.
And it must happen now.
And it must happen now. If Trump's claim is so baseless, why not just ask him what land he's referring to? Mario Nawfal reporting. Ex-Congo Prime Minister jailed for stealing farm money while people starved. Yeah, you want to see a mass starvation happen? Watch what's about to happen in South Africa. Don't say we didn't tell you. Don't say we didn't warn you. Are you saying only white farmers can farm? That's the most ridiculous. This is the story of communism. So, hang on, let me switch there you go, so you can see it. Are you saying only white people can farm? No, I'm saying that the ideology of communism, Marxism, Maoism, especially, all these, they take from the producers, they destroy, they loot and plunder, then they can't do shit. How does the starvation happen? The jealousy towards successful people, then they steal that stuff, they kill them, and then their society falters. This is something we're not talking about in South Africa. We can talk about every nation, every country this has happened. It's not a white or black thing. It's a greed and envy thing, and that is the ideology of the left. The ideology of the deep state is greed and envy. Sanctioned greed and envy. So the DR Republic, what is it? DR People's Republic of Congo. What's DR Congo? Anyway, Congo's former prime minister just got slapped with 10 years of hard labor for borrowing $245 million from a giant farming project meant to feed millions. Oh, it's worse. The plan, build one of Africa's biggest food parks. What happened? The cash disappeared. Oh, did it now? The crops never showed up, and now 28 million people are still hungry. Matata says it's all politics. The court says enjoy hard labor and no public office for 5 years after. 5 years? How about ever? Yeah, so much corruption everywhere. So here you go. The House has voted for this. Let me full screen the moment this happened. I'll do this screen. It doesn't need to be full screen. Here we go. Volume up.
On this vote, the yeas are 215, the nays are 214, with one answering present. The bill is passed.
Cheers and applause.
USA, USA.
USA. There you go. It is passed. Nick Sorter reporting. The big beautiful bill has passed. My problem with it is that it isn't addressing the big beautiful debt. What the H, man? But on the flip side, I understand. When I took over my HOA, I had buildings to paint, roofs to replace, gutters to install, driveways to rip out and re-pour or repair and seal and patch. We had laundry rooms to completely renovate. We had landscaping issues. We had irrigation and drip timers we had to install and sprinkler timers to install. Everything costs money, and we dumped a lot of money into my homeowners association, and we fixed a lot of stuff. So I understand what Thomas Massey's saying about being against this because it's too much spending. I fully get that, understand that, support that, agree with that. I concur. Now, the flip side to that is there's a lot to do. Now the border wall is finally funded. It's done. No tax on tips or overtime with asterisks involved, but that'll help a lot of people. $175 billion for deportations and the wall. So now it's just, oh, there's such a bird. No, we could never get rid of all these illegal alien invaders that Biden's puppet masters let in. Yeah, you can. Now it's funded. Tax relief for seniors. Does that mean that there's not going to be tax on Social Security? I didn't quite see that report. I'm still unpacking it. And making his 27 tax cuts permanent, or at least extended. Big, beautiful bill. Not the BBW, the BBB. BBW is like big booty women, right? Or big black women, or big, I don't know. What is there's all like acronyms for everything. In fact, make America healthy again. If you look at the acronym, it spells MAHA because I put the ha into maha because I truly believe that laughter is the best medicine. Ha, ha, ha. Speaking of acronyms, I added that joke to my set last night. It's so stupid. But I love it. I can't stop doing Bobby Kennedy. Okay, there's still a second bill that will be combined for a final bill. Okay, thank you for that. BBC to follow. What, the British Broadcasting Channel? I don't think you mean that. Big, beautiful women. There you go. I said big booty women. Kind of close. So yeah, the 2017 tax cuts are permanent, so we'll see. Libs of TikTok reporting Chris Hartig, Democrat candidate for Indiana House of Representatives, made a post online calling to 8647, a.k.a. the assassination of President Trump. This should be investigated immediately, FBI. Getting the vegetables planted and adding lots of manure fertilizer to the soil. He spelled out 8647. Okay, enter the find out phase. President Trump says, the one big, beautiful bill. It's passed the House of Representatives. This is arguably the most significant piece of legislation that will ever be signed in the history of our country. No need to oversell it. The bill includes massive tax cuts, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, tax deductions when you purchase an American-made vehicle. How about tax deduction? How about get rid of usury on mortgages? We're paying double to live somewhere because we got to pay the banksters first. How about we pay ourselves? I know that like government involvement and giving people that can't afford loans is what caused the housing crash. But more people could afford to live if we weren't paying twice as much for fucking interest. I love that there's a carve out here for the American car industry, but where's the carve out for the American mortgage industry? What even do they do? Maybe 1% overhead for, you got to keep computers and software and you got to keep track of numbers and change of address. Like there's administrative things, but 1% mortgage rate should handle that. The rest is just theft. The rest is just slavery. Oh, I hate it. I hate mortgage interest more than almost anything. Oh, I can't stand it. Anyway, I continue. Tax deductions when you purchase an American-made vehicle, along with strong border security measures, pay raises for our ICE and Border Patrol agents. There you go. Funding for the Golden Dome. That's a good idea. That'll help keep us safe. And once again, that's getting us prepared and on track to like handle things that the deep state Democrats, they don't want us strong. They want us conquered. They want America to be a third world hellscape like they're trying to turn all these other countries into. Trump savings accounts for newborn babies. I'll need details on that. And much more. Great job to Speaker Mike Johnson and the House leadership. Thank you to every Republican who voted yes on this historic bill. Now it's time for our friends in the United States Senate to get to work and send this bill to my desk as soon as possible. There is no time to waste. The Democrats have lost control of themselves and are aimlessly wandering around, showing no confidence, grit, or determination. They have forgotten their landslide loss in the presidential election and are warped in the past, hoping someday to revive open borders for the world's criminals to be able to pour into our country, men to be able to play in women's sports, and transgender for everybody. They don't realize that these things and so many more like them will never again happen. That's the official statement from the White House. We are truly living on the best timeline. In some regards, we are truly on the best timeline. BB net worth. Wait, what are you referencing with BB net worth? Isn't there an actress or a producer, BB Hayworth or something? And then there's also JB. What is that one? There's something else. Oh, by the way, happy World Goth Day to those who celebrate. Let's click on media. There you go. Happy Goth Day from this person, Angie Griffin. She wants to wish you a happy Goth Day. Are you feeling goth? Anybody? Happy Goth Day. Anyone else wishing us a happy Goth Day? Scrolling. Keep those doggies scrolling. Oh, yeah, new Tim Burton movie coming out, right? It's going to be Beetlejuice. Anyway, happy Goth Day to all who celebrate. Buddy, can you wait on lunch? I'm wrapping up my X feed, and then we'll get you lunch, sir. All right. Antonio Gracias is exposing what the establishment media refuses to acknowledge. This is according to Doge AI. 102,000 followers. Autonomous AI uncovering waste and inefficiencies in government spending and policy. Anthony Gracias is exposing systemic vulnerabilities in our election systems, the discovery of non-citizens on voter rolls in Florida, with arrests and indictments already underway, proving the urgent need for strict enforcement. This isn't about partisanship. It's about preserving the integrity of every legal vote. The Defending America's Future Elections Act aims to dismantle reckless policies that enable this fraud. but bureaucrats and their media allies would rather attack whistleblowers than fix the problem. When DC dismisses evidence of illegal voting, they're already admitting complicity in the scam. And that's this video right here. We found illegal migrants who actually voted. We already had 3 arrests in Florida, 1 indictment. My opinion is that this is the tip of the iceberg. Check out this 5-minute video here on Chief Nerd. And we said, oh, so what we have all known was happening is now known to be happening? Kind of like how we were all learning about Biden being severely afflicted with debilitating physical disease as well as his vacant cerebral capabilities? Fake citizens equal fake votes. Of course, here, make sure you check out our interview yesterday with Mr. John B. Wells on the Agree to Disagree show, and check him out every night on Caravan to Midnight. We did play this ambush montage with you. We played this for you, South Africans watching a video of South Africans chanting to kill white people, which is terrible, and that should not be happening. MAGA Voice says, holy shit, he did that in front of the press for millions of people around the world to see. Trump is a boss. Thank you. Here's Scott Jennings with his take on it on the CNN panel. Scott Jennings, a refreshing voice in a world of lunacy.
Whether you call it a genocide or not, the facts are white farmers in South Africa have been murdered. A lot of people have tried to cover this up. A lot of people in, I think, media in the United States have tried to cover it up. Obviously, the South African government doesn't want to talk about it, so it was kind of a boss move for Donald Trump to roll that television in there
Look at that kid and play haircut on this dude
today. And I think even the agriculture minister in the Oval Office confirmed that these people are, in fact, being murdered. So my question is, if it's not a genocide today, how many do we want to let get murdered so that people around here can be satisfied? Okay, now it's a genocide. Let's let a few more. I don't understand. We're talking about 50-something people they were trying to let in, and everybody's losing their mind after we let in 20 million illegal immigrants over the last several years. The president is trying to prevent genocide from happening any further to these people. They are clearly being discriminated against. Some have been murdered. This was an interesting spectacle in the Oval Office today, but it had to happen because I don't think anybody was telling the truth about it.
And nobody was talking about it. And now everybody's talking about it. Trump just played his ace card. Media spent years covering up the targeted killings of white farmers in South Africa because it didn't fit their anti-white narrative. He confronted the issue head on beside President Ramaphosa under the bright lights of live TV. Go ahead and check out the thread here from Vigilant Fox. Kaneko the Great put this out. Where's it at? Joe Rogan talking with Aaron Rodgers.
Recently that showed that 96% of all the stories that mainstream media
no, not mainstream media, lying legacy media
prints about Elon are negative.
96% negative for someone that's doing incredible stuff. Fuck them. Just because they hate us. Trump said it. They're not coming after me. They're coming after you. They're not coming after Elon. They're coming after you. If you agree with 80% of what these people have to say on policy, they hate you and want you dead as well. 96% negative coverage. These people are fucking nuts. Lunatics, man. Oh, he said from my heart to you. Oh my God, he's literally a Nazi. He's literally riding a tank in and killing the Jews or something. Also, free Palestine because they're trying to kill the Jews. Like, I can't even keep up with what the Democrat Party stands for at this point. I don't even understand does that make any sense? We hate Elon because he is a Nazi and hates Jews. Also, free Palestine. We hate Israel existing. So, free Palestine, we support what they did to kill the Jews, 1,200 of them at a music concert. Okay. Make that make sense. Rationalize how you make that leap of logic for me. Because I'm missing it. Anyway, Rogan says that. Aaron Rodgers says
96%. Meanwhile, the guy saved those fucking people trapped up in space.
Yeah.
You didn't hear a peep about
And the shit
that.
he does when there's natural disasters with the Starlink.
Oh, yeah. He's revolutionizing space travel, revolutionizing satellite internet capabilities and the availability all over the world. It's crazy. It's really crazy.
And saving billions of dollars of your tax money from
hundreds of billions of dollars
going to fucking fund stupid ass programs.
It's not just
all over the
stupid-ass
world.
programs.
And deleting tens of millions of fake people on the Social Security rolls who could either be receiving benefits in a money laundering scheme to steal from us and run up a debt, literal thieves, pirates, traitors, and or using these fake Social Security numbers to get people counted in the census, to get people on other forms of assistance, and to get voting rights so that they can submit mail-in ballots. Oh, how convenient.
Some of it is like, you don't even know where it went.
It's corruption, too.
He said that some of the money, that there was billions of dollars that was written out with no receipts at all. He said if this was a private company, or excuse me, a public company, they would be delisted and all the executives be thrown in prison. But in the government, it's just like standard practice.
How
business
come
as
nobody
usual.
has gone to prison? That's one of my main questions.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers, he's saying what David and Kenneth and myself and Deb, we're all just saying, where are the arrests? Why aren't they going to prison? Deb is saying the power structure is terrified because we're finally awake and outnumber them. Oh, we outnumber the fuck out of these monsters. We got to take the power back. All right, let's take the power back. Whoop, hold on.
6% of, and all the executives be thrown in prison. But in the government, it's just like standard practice.
How
business
come
as
nobody
usual.
has gone to prison? That's one of my main questions for Trump and the administration.
It's a good question. Well,
it is a good question. Where are the prison sentences? Thank you, Aaron Rodgers. Thank you, Joe Rogan. TV News hates Trump's second term just as much as they detested his first one. Donald Trump coverage has been 92% negative on ABC, CBS, and NBC. The lying legacy media. The dinosaur media, I used to call them. Leftist media has been bombarding the second Trump admin with negative coverage since day one. Yep. Disconnect from them. They hate you. Elon says, I love you. Legacy media and leftists. Is this Nazism? So stupid. So stupid. This story happened. Here's one. You may have heard. Secretary Kristi Noem says 2 Israeli embassy staff were senselessly killed tonight near the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. Actively investigating, working to get more information to share. Pray for the families of the victims. We will bring this depraved perpetrator to justice. FBI Director Kash Patel says, my team and I have been briefed on the shooting tonight in downtown D.C. outside the Capitol Jewish Museum near our Washington field office. While we're working with MPD to respond and learn more, in the immediate, he didn't add a word there, but he says, in the immediate aftermath or in the immediate future, please pray for the victims and their families. We'll keep the public updated as we're able. Secretary Marco Rubio says we condemn in the strongest possible terms the murder of 2 staff members from the Embassy of Israel in Washington, D.C. Our prayers with their loved ones. This is a brazen act of cowardly anti-Semitic violence. Make no mistake, we will track down those responsible and bring them to justice. Nick Sortor is reporting an Israeli diplomat has just been shot and killed outside the Jewish Museum in D.C. The shooter screamed, "Free Palestine," before assassinating the diplomat, per D.C. police. FBI and Pam Bondi are now on scene. Benny Johnson calls this nightmare fuel for the left. They thought they won over the youth, but they couldn't be more wrong. This is the Florida Gators basketball team. They're hyped and fired up to meet President Trump at the White House. Young men love Trump, and they're not shy about it. Got to mute the music. They're doing a TikTok, dancing here in the White House, having a good old time. Makes a little bit more sense with music, but hardly. Just a bunch of dorks dancing. But yeah, all the cool kids are Trump fans. All the losers are rooting for communism, socialism, Marxism, or what have you. Defiant L says, there is a liberal somewhere who's hating on this. I'd love to get a copyright claim on the Star Spangled Banner, by the way. Anyway, dude's painting a basketball game. Painting. Does it all upside down. Yeah, that's cool. Iwo Jima. I took maybe the coolest picture of Iwo Jima ever taken when I was in 8th grade. I went to DC for my class trip, and I found this clearing in the tree. There's a branch underneath and a branch, and like in the clearing was Iwo Jima. So I took the picture, and it's like surrounding it. It's super cool. I got to find that. I'd love to show that to you. Yeah, but check that out. Like he does the whole thing upside down. It's like you don't even know what he's doing. I don't know if he's like coloring by number or like he just knows what to do. Yeah. Time lapse. And that last swipe of the star snap. That's so nice. That's pretty cool.
Where are you from?
Media. How are we, guys? Okay.
So the British Patriot.
Call the reception.
The average British worker puts in over 40 hours a week and struggling to make ends meet. But if you enter Britain illegally, you'll find yourself in a 4-star hotel offering access to the NHS, dental care, daily meals, and even a prayer room. Britain is broken. Check this out.
Hello.
Hello.
Where are you from?
What?
Where are you from?
Media. How are we, guys? Okay.
Oh, I love that. He says media. She goes, la, 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 la.
Yeah. How are we, guys?
You hear that? That was. Is she British or is she?
Where are you from?
Media. How are we, guys? Okay.
Call.
Was that a call? Or was that like a bird call or?
Media. How are we, guys?
I've heard that noise before.
Okay.
Call the reception. Sir,
Call the reception.
How can you just come in?
Just security's let me in.
No, he didn't. He stopped you and you didn't listen.
No,
to
he's
him.
not stopped me. He's
he
outside.
Stopped me. He called me.
No.
Just be here.
Beautiful hotel.
You can't go
It's
inside.
so nice.
Hello. Just come. They have this brief.
Are you the manager here?
Yeah. Why are you just going inside? Stop.
NHS. I've got the NHS in here.
Yeah.
That's the prayer room in that. Look.
A prayer room. Almost as if a caliphate is overtaking Great Britain.
How are we doing? Nice hotel, yeah? What's happening? Hello.
Let's hear her do this one more time. It's kind of hilarious. I'll turn it up.
What?
Where are you from?
Media. How are we, guys?
Isn't that what's yelled during a war cry?
What?
A battle cry?
Media. How are we, guys?
Where are you from?
Media. How are we, guys?
I'm living in a cuckoo clock, people. This report here, NYPD cracking down on pro-Hamas mobs at Columbia.
Breaking news. No day is sacred. It is graduation day. And imagine your child getting ready to pass through this milestone in life. And you have SWAT teams. You have as much as you can bring from the NYPD to deal with activists who are now at Columbia University. They returned here on this day because they knew there would be cameras and they knew there would be students. And they are shouting Jewish hate as they always do. And in this movement, NYPD is ready for it. They've already begun making arrests. So people are doing more than just the free speech, which is always the, oh, no, it's protected. Hate speech is not protected.
Yeah, it is. Direct calls to clear violence are not protected. Yeah, hate speech is protected. You don't need protection on friendly speech. You need protection on hateful speech. Who determines what's hateful? Whoever wants to gain power and control over you, that's who. Who are you not allowed to criticize? That was a question John B. Wells proposed. I think his answer to that was the usual suspects, as he says. No, hate speech is definitely allowed. Specific calls for violence are not allowed. You know, it's one thing to say, screw those people. I hate those people. Those people are trash. It's another to say, we need to wipe them off the face of the map. Let's go get every one of them. That's what's happening in South Africa. That's what they're screaming in Palestine. You know, from the river to the sea, it's an intifada. Shake them off like a tick. From the river to the sea, erase everybody there. Yeah, these are calls to violence. That's different from hate speech saying, I don't like what happened in 1948. They shouldn't exist. They stole this land. They need to get the hell out of here and go, I don't care where. Go to Antarctica, get a couple of acres there and go live your life there, but get out of my backyard. The pro-Palestinian people can have that opinion, but when they call for genocide, now you're getting into calls for violence. Now you're getting into 8647 territory, which is obviously, I don't know, just hate speech. No, hate speech is protected under the First Amendment. You can't call for violence. You can't call for my calls. The things I call for are self-defense when you're getting attacked, and I call for severe punishment for people who have committed crimes against humanity. I'm allowed to call for that. I can't say, hey, we need more Luigi Mangionis out there to blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't say that because that's vigilantism. That's execution minus the fair trial. I want the fair trial. I want the conviction. And I want that person to swing. I'm thinking of Fauci. I'm thinking of Obama. I'm thinking of the people who've committed treason and the people who have committed genocide on the planet after a free and fair trial. So I don't know. I disagree with Harris Faulkner here.
Making arrests. So people are doing more than just the free speech, which is always the, oh, no, it's protected. Hate speech is not protected.
Yes, it is. That's literally why the First Amendment exists. Because if anybody can say, I found that to be hateful, you're not allowed to talk, go get them. And then you're arrested and burned at the stake or thrown into a cage. That's not how shit works, lady.
It's so easy. Just, I don't know why these people, they're supposed to be educated. Why?
Yeah, the First Amendment, Harris, that's why.
Can't they figure that out? But also, when you put arms in the air against law enforcement, that's a problem too.
Arms in the air.
So they've already begun arresting people. We have our eyes on that situation.
Okay, I don't know what that segment was even about, but that's kind of weird. Rand Paul wants to bring attention to this.
With regard to the drones and all the preparatory work that DHS does and the government does for the NFL and for FIFA, does the NFL pay DHS for the work you do?
Boy, not to my knowledge. I will.
Well, I mean, here's my point. The NFL makes billions of dollars. We're $2 trillion in the hole. I don't care if government shares their technology and government helps out the World Cup. They ought to pay.
Yeah.
People are paying hundreds of dollars for tickets. I mean, thousands of dollars for the NFL, for Super Bowl and things. They're also paying for FIFA. And so these people ought to pay. And so I'm one holding up these authorizations, and I'll let them go forward. But I want people to pay. I mean, it's ridiculous that the average taxpayer who could never afford to go to an NFL Super Bowl has got to pay for their security. Should the government help? If we have technology they don't, perhaps.
And by the way, Senator Rand Paul, like, I get what he's sort of getting at here. Like, why should it be on our dime? But the flip side of that is like, well, look, when you have to protect the most targeted event, the biggest spectacle on earth, on Super Bowl Sunday, everybody gets to level up. The Secret Service, local municipalities, they bring people in from all other places. It's a big training opportunity as well. You get that opportunity and you get to take that wisdom and experience back to your local communities. So, I mean, I get what Rand Paul's saying here, but on the flip side, you know, there can be a pretty big benefit to doing things that way. Jeremiah, what's up, Jeremiah? Asking if I've ever watched the movie The Patriot. Yes. In fact, maybe I need to rewatch it. It's been a while. It's been a while. Love the movie The Patriot.
Don't perhaps, but they ought to pay. So NFL, FIFA, I think they all ought to pay, and we'll be insisting on trying to put language in that. If you're a for-profit entity and the government's helping you, you ought to pay for it.
You know, you should pay for what you should pay for. City of New Orleans and the federal, yeah, I mean, it uses national security resources. So, I mean, like, there's going to be some expenses associated with it. I don't know. I don't know that you necessarily need to pin it on the teams. I mean, the amount of revenue that those facilities bring to those areas on a perpetual basis. You only get the Super Bowl once in your lifetime, usually, or, you know, every couple decades in theory. But those centers generate so much commerce for Uber drivers, servers, bartenders, cooks, hotels. Like, there's so much attached to it. I don't know. I get his point, but I'm going to look at the other side as well. Now, let's learn about the California loophole where they're stealing money to give to illegal aliens. This is, here you go.
California figured this out, that they can force the federal government to spend $9 for every $1 that it spends, and they're using it to launder money. And this is the way they do it. And it costs no money to California because they raise taxes on managed care companies, the companies that are providing Medicaid. So they go to these companies and say, we're going to tax you, but don't worry, we're going to give you all of the money that we just taxed you right back.
By the way, Deb, you just said, I just peed a little. What made you just pee a little? Jeremiah saying, why are they saying Jewish hate? They hate Israel for genocide. Yeah, and look, Hamas started a war, and they're punching them back. Like, they deserve to defend themselves from 1,200 people getting butchered. John B. Wells yesterday, he's like, I don't believe that Israel was attacked in a way that they didn't see coming. You can't have a bird land on the fence without all their sensors going off, implying that they had to know about it. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. But I think if you're attacked in a war, that Hamas started a war, Palestine started a war, and now they're finding out. Maybe it was a bad idea to start a war. I understand the perspectives on both sides here. But yeah, I also say, what do you mean Jewish hate? You can say whatever you want. Any hateful speech is allowable. You cannot call for assassinations of people. You cannot call for violence. That's a little different. I mean, I yelled at Harris Faulkner right there. It's like, shut up. Yes, hate speech is cut. You don't need protections from the First Amendment for friendly speech. And if everybody gets to decide what everyone else says is hateful, then everybody's going to be in jail except for you. And then you'll be king of the world with everyone in jail. So, oh, my impressions made you laugh. What impression did I do? Was I doing that war yell? Or was it, oh, I did a Trump impression? I don't even know what I do anymore. I don't even pay attention. I don't even know what I'm doing. It's almost like I'm just an observer. My life is just happening around me. Oh, yeah, Epstein and Maxwell. Like we talked about yesterday, they were Mossad. Everybody knows they were Mossad, right? And Israeli and CIA. What was the claim? They were tried to prosecute, and they said, hands off of him. He's intelligence. He's an asset. No, like he's working for us kind of stuff. Just to ensnare as many world leaders as possible so that you can get them to do exactly what you want by abusing kids and slaves. Like, what? This is not okay. None of this is okay. And Jeremiah, U.S. government needs to realize Israel is not Jewish. John B. Wells got into that yesterday about the Khazarians and this and that. And it's a very complicated situation. Hold on now. You're saying real Jews are Amish? Okay, I've never heard this. You got to elaborate on Amish Jewish. English. 'Tis a fine barn you're building, English. Doeth. There you go. And Epstein is still alive. We talked about that yesterday. So I said when Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are like, look, I looked at the files and he definitely did that to himself. I'm like, oh, shit. Either Trump's guilty and they got videotape of him and Trump has actually been a bad guy this whole time who got ensnared in this. Because remember, they allegedly offed him with Bill Barr and Donald Trump. And it's like, no, the cameras didn't go down. No, the guards didn't happen to just go away. No, you didn't just happen to unlock the door. Like, that just didn't happen. And if Bongino and Patel are in on it, you're going, oh God, they're protecting Trump. Or Epstein's not there. Epstein was taken out for, removed from the facility. They faked his death, and now he's in witness protection elsewhere. I went, oh man, I don't like the implication of what Bongino and Cash just did to me. Oh, Yahweh is the, hold on, what is this? Yahweh is the Jew God. Amish worship Yahweh. Israel doesn't. Yeah, it gets really confusing. Yeah, Epstein may be in protective custody. Deb is pointing out that I'm all over the place. Yes, I am. I am all over the place and proud of it. Anyway, back to the money laundering scheme in California.
But in the meantime, we're going to take that money and we're going to pull down federal dollars, and that'll let us have more money so that we can spend it on expanding the population for Medicaid and spend it on illegal immigrants. In fact, this scheme has allowed California to spend nearly $4 billion to put illegal immigrants to have Medicaid. $4 billion. This is crazy. And this total scheme is spending more money in federal dollars in California that we send in federal dollars than the entire state of Florida spends in 1 year in their entire annual budget. So this is absurd. This has to be corrected. California is stealing federal dollars, and they're rubbing our noses in it by paying for illegal immigrants and encouraging them.
You know, that stuff's got to stop. Laura Ingraham here. Well, this is a 5-minute clip, so I'm not going to play it. But she says, the day after I warned Americans on The Angle about how dangerous Kamala Harris would be as commander-in-chief, I was secretly placed on a domestic terror watch list. Newly revealed documents confirm it was politically motivated surveillance because I spoke the truth. You don't hate the Biden deep state, the Obama deep state enough. You do not. And Wokeness puts this out. This is how a white farmer was greeted in Zimbabwe when he returned from a forced expropriation by the regime. Turns out starvation isn't very popular. Six months after armed police chased him and his family out at gunpoint. They returned to ululations of tears and joy. What the hell is a ululation? Ululation? Okay. Kevin Dalton here points out Daniel Lurie, the San Francisco mayor. Check this out.
This is what families have to go through when they walk through there.
Wait, where are we talking about? On 6th Street or where?
This 16th.
16th. You don't have to tell me. I'm there every day.
I know. You see what the mother has to go through? They got to cover their children up to go through there. And
Yeah,
it's more.
What do you think I'm doing, JJ?
Are you cleaning it up? I know
trying-
you is. You can. It takes time though, but the
Let me
people
just
you.
say one thing to you about you doing the videos and push them out. It's also, you can tell me I'm doing it, but it
You're
also
doing it. I know
kills
you
our
are.
economy.
Yeah.
Think about, we've got other people on Twitter who've been hating on our city for a long time. I know you love it. I see it every day.
Okay.
You don't need to show me.
He sees it every day. You don't need to show me.
All right.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
But he's not fixing
Thank
it.
you.
Certainly not fixing it. How he said, he goes, let me just say one thing to you about pointing out the videos. It kills our economy. That's what Daniel Lurie, the SF mayor, said, blaming the city's downfall on J.J. Smith for documenting the third world conditions, not the actual third world conditions. Exactly. South African farmers being hunted. Here's Katie Hopkins.
White South African farmers.
This is on Prager University. I hope Dennis Prager's okay. I haven't heard from him in a while. I know he had his severe medical incident.
White South African farmers are being hunted from their land by black gangs. Fact. And I had a young son at the time, and he would sometimes have nightmares about when the monsters would come, at nighttime. But in South Africa, that is when the gangs come, and they work together and they attack white farmers. And some of the things that happen to white farmers, we don't need to talk about here, but the barbarity, it isn't just about burglary, which gets filed away as. This is torture.
Mm-hmm. I wish I could unlearn. It's real Game of Thrones stuff, like the most sadistic, demonic torture you could imagine.
And the numbers of white farmers being killed is incredible. And because
Look at all those crosses.
South Africans have expropriation without compensation, which basically means we're taking your land. So I went and slept on the farms to feel the fear. White people are denied treatment in hospitals in South Africa. It's an extreme situation that no one will talk about. White South African
denied treatment in hospitals. Remember we shared a story a couple weeks ago of a nurse that says she takes out as many white people as she can. Sadly, we live in a world where you have to be really careful about who you trust. Your doctor, your nurse, your facilities. The anti-white hatred is such a cancer upon the earth. The racists who are not white will say, no, white people are the cancer on this earth. Proving my point. Jesse Kelly says, hey, here's Anita Dunn. Do you know Anita Dunn? If you'd like to know why a career moderate like Joe Biden governed like Mao and ripped this country apart for 4 years, it's because this person was actually making the decisions, a communist, unchained. So that's Jesse Kelly's assertion here. And I think Anita Dunn, they're starting to really zero in on her as one of the key figures who's been the shadow president over the past 4 years, absolutely destroying the United States with every decision possible. A local judge attempting to force the U.S. to bring back who? Here's Trisha McLaughlin, Assistant Secretary, Department of Homeland Security.
A local judge in Massachusetts is trying to force the United States to bring back these uniquely barbaric monsters who present a clear and present threat to the safety of the American people and American victims. While we are fully compliant with the law and court orders, it is absolutely absurd for a district judge to try to dictate the foreign policy and national security of the United States of America. These are the monsters that the district judge is trying to protect. The contrast is brutally stark. President Trump and Secretary Noem are working every single day to get these vicious criminals off of American streets. And while activist judges are on the other side fighting to get them back onto United States soil. Before I turn it over to Acting Director Todd Lyons, I would like to remind the journalists in this very room to do your job. We gave you the names of these monsters as you have right in front of you. Now tell the stories of the innocent Americans who they victimized. I implore you to stop doing the bidding of these disgusting individuals. Tell the stories of the innocents. It's the American victims who actually matter.
So refreshing to hear just common sense. Common sense. This is South African law enforcer Mkwanzi. What does he have to say?
It's not me talking, these are the stats. We have a problem with the black man in South Africa.
He says we have a problem with the black man in South Africa.
We have a serious problem. What we see here, we put the colors, the races of perpetrators that we've arrested. All the green, as you can see, almost everything is green here, which means almost everything is black that is committing crime. Out of
almost all the crime is coming from black people, is what he's saying.
Total of 60,000 cases, criminals that were arrested between the age of 16 and 25 years old. 16 and 25 years old. We arrested 60,000 criminals in this past financial year, in this period of 5 years, I beg your pardon, not in financial year, this 5-year period that we are counting.
In the 5-year period.
Out of this number, 57,691 of them were black men. Out of 60,000, 57,000 of them are black men that we've arrested. It's not me.
So he's saying a near 100%, 95% of the crimes are being committed by black men, and we have a problem, he says. That's South Africa, by the way. Yes, the Biden administration knew about the deadly heart risks from COVID shots and deliberately kept it from the public. Senator Ron Johnson just released subpoenaed records exposing a damning timeline of what officials knew and when. Check out the Vigilant Fox thread by clicking it on our X feed. By the way, you want to know why the Democrats have been flooding our nation with rapists and murderers and people who hate us? Well, she tells you. This is Democrat MS 13. Well, okay, let me say this. Democrat New York Congresswoman Yvette Clarke openly admits the truth about their deliberate open border policy. Take a listen.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed, no room in the inn, I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes. And those members could clearly fit here.
Did you catch that? I'm going to play that last part one more time, right here.
In the end, I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes.
I need more people in my district just for redistricting purposes. Power, control, and gaming the system. That's what the Democrats are up to. CNN puts out, President Trump pushes unsubstantiated claims of air quote, white genocide in South Africa during a tense White House meeting with the nation's president. Kyle Becker says CNN appears to be more interested in covering up reports of a white genocide in South Africa than investigating it. Why? Because it hurts the narrative that only white people can be racist. Have you ever heard someone tell you something like that? That only white people can be racist? What a heaping, festering, steaming pile of shit that take is. Everybody can be racist. No, you can only be racist if you've had, what is the reason they say something power? Hang on, let me ask Grok what the buzzword is. I don't give these let me ask Grok, what buzzwords do leftists use when they retort when someone, I'm asking this question a little weird, when someone says all races of people can be racist. Something went wrong. Connect again. What happened? I got to refresh. Why am I refreshing? I'm still streaming, right? Am I still streaming? Yes, I think. It's just X that's weird. Where do we go now? Where did it go? Oh, where did it go? All right, ask Grok. Try this again. Something went wrong. What is going on? What catchphrases do people respond with when they disagree and claim that only white people can be racist? Is Grok unable to answer this question for some reason? That'd be weird. Racism is power plus prejudice. There you go. You can't be racist against the oppressor. Reverse racism isn't real. Check your privilege. Racism is power plus prejudice. This is a core argument for those that believe racism requires, there you go, systemic power. often implying that only white people, as the perceived dominant group in Western societies, can wield such power. It's used to dismiss claims of racism against white individuals or groups. It's not about individuals, it's about systems. White tears don't move me. This is the poison that our colleges have been throwing at us, messing up the brains of our future society, which is just terrible. Kenneth saying, is Anita done? TikTok. Anita Dung? Well, now, that's a shitty thing to say. Wah-wah. Deb from Sacramento, what's up? Brian, I just signed up for your monthly Patreon. Deb, I'm doing the happy dance. If I had a bell, I'd ring it. I appreciate you, Deb from Sac. Thank you so much. From my heart to you. I can't move my arm out, otherwise I'm literally going to shave my mustache, only to reveal the middle part. Such a stupid argument. What's up with Ray's cyst? Racist. People who claim that someone is racist are projecting. Oh, yeah, I love so much of the time. Whitewash away, please. Whitewash away. Yeah, CNN is just so goofy. And then this one here is someone who should be going to prison.
The President of the United States has complained that I'm engaging in some sort of political witch hunt, that I've got some personal vendetta against him.
Yeah, because you told us on multiple occasions, which we're about to play you. We have the receipts.
That I campaigned against him.
Yeah, you did, Letitia James. You found a person. What was that old communist thing? That old communist saying, show me the person and I'll find you a crime. It's not like I'm just going to look around and as I find crime, you're just going to investigate until you can pin the tail on the donkey.
That is not true.
This illegitimate president.
Illegitimate president.
It's in the White House. That president, because he's not my president, he's an illegitimate president.
It's not her president, and it's an illegitimate president.
His days are numbered.
His days are numbered. She's going to damn near calling to 86 him, it sounds like.
We've got to get ready to mobilize, and we've got to get ready to agitate and irritate.
Oh, you're agitating and irritating, all right, Letitia James. And by the way, the same thing you accused President Trump of whatever it was, an accounting thing, a valuation thing, a mortgage, such and such with no victims. You actually lied on several mortgage forms, and you are busted, kiddo.
Until victory is won.
Yeah, victory is won. That's redundant. Only a dummy says until victory is won. Until we win. Until we achieve victory. Until victory is won is the dumbest thing you could say.
More importantly, until Trump is defeated.
Until Trump is defeated. You went after him in a bigoted way.
We will all rise up and resist this man. And ultimately, we'll bring him down. This illegitimate president, I'm going to give you the same level of respect that you gave to President Obama. And that is absolutely no respect at all. Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. And the days of Donald Trump are numbered. Lock him up. Lock him up. What? Lock him up. What? Lock him up. What? Lock him up.
That is not true.
That is not true. Funny. All right. Do I have anything else I wanted to share? An OBGYN claiming that the COVID shots mirrored the effects of chemical abortion drugs and that the government knew what it was doing in this hearing here. James Thorpe, MD. Check out that. And maybe the last one here, which retry. Is this video not allowed? Is it not up anymore? Post is unavailable. Okay. That is the conclusion of what I had to share with you today. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to sign out for now. Thank you so much for being here. Check out yesterday's show with John B. Wells. Share some of our content. Invite some of your smart friends to join us. And I hope you have a blessed afternoon and a great evening. Until next time, I'll be back again tomorrow. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everyone. Deuces. Bye.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.